Hello student teachers. Today we are learning using problem solving teaching strategy by Killen with me, Miss Vega. So what are our learning outcomes today? The first one would be determining what is problem solving teaching strategy. The second one would be determining the features of problem solving and reason of using this as a teaching strategy. The third would be where the problem solving work and how and where it doesn't work. The fourth one would be to determine how to plan and implement problem solving into a lesson. And last but not least is to determine how to develop a learner's thinking skills. We will cover these skills by defining and looking at features and reasons to use problem solving teaching strategy, implementing and planning use of problem solving, and develop a learner's thinking skills within the course. What is problem solving? Problem solving teaching strategy is divided into three categories. Teaching for problem solving, teaching about problem solving, and teaching through problem solving. Teaching problem solving strategy as a teaching technique through problem solving helps in solving problems with existing knowledge. Meanwhile, it opens ways of learning new methods of problem solving. Teaching the learner concepts and skills on how to solve to solve would be teaching for problem solving. Teaching learners the processes to use to solve certain types of problems would be teaching about problem solving. For an example, this is screenshots of Miss Vega, grade 5 mathematics, number patterns video is available at Miss T Vega's YouTube channel. An example of this explanation is using the topics of patterns, fractions, and algebra, teaching computational skills to solve flow diagram, that is teaching for problem solving. The processes of finding ratio / rule is teaching about problem solving. The Miss Team Vega grade 5 mathematics number pattern lesson acknowledges the social problem chosen as a theme is how changing temperatures cause a lot of global warming, affecting the melting ice caps volumes per meter at Antarctic and Atlantic and Antarctic poles. This relates to pattern functions and algebraic numeric patterns to global warming. Changing temperatures is affecting the melting ice cap volumes per kilometer at Antarctic and the poles, meaning that the pattern shows the relationship on how the output is determined by the rule influenced by the inputs. Inquiring a learner on how an increase in temperature Antarctic pole would affect the volume per kilometer of ice caps. This is teaching through problem solving. This strategy engages the learner to purposefully think and think with reason to analyze situation, apply existing knowledge to new situation, and objective judgment. This is classwork, one of the classwork that the video actually looks at. Piaget's social constructionism is where you require knowledge through interaction of the environment or an experience to find relevance of the new knowledge to make a better personal understanding on real life phenomenon with the content. In this way, you are building new schemata onto existing schemata, which facilitates quality learning. By using this example, relevant past experiences such as putting ice cube to hot cup of water, watching the ice cube melt in change of temperature makes it easier for learners to understand the change in temperature by global warming can melt the ice per kilometer, making it relatable to existing schemata. An example, as I told you, it's available at the YouTube channel of Mr. Vega, grade 5 mathematics, number patterns. Now, reasons to use problem solving teaching strategies would be that problem-based learning is the pinnacle of problem solving as a teaching strategy within the curriculum. The use of problem-based learning is to engage learners with appropriate sets of problems to acquire knowledge bases and deepen their understanding of important concepts and principles, and develop skills such as problem solving and interpersonal personal skills that are helpful in future careers. A problem-based learning curriculum is integrates a set of realistic problems that will engage learners in a form of inquiry, thinking, information processing, collaboration, and communication, which is most valuable in the field of study. It encourages the learner to be metacognitive as they develop new knowledge for themselves, stimulating curiosity and feel responsible for their own learners. It evaluates their own learning and learning processes and develops the learner's critical thinking skills and ability to adapt to new learning situation. Problem solving helps learner to see an educator as a resource to help you with their learning instead of just being a source of information. To use or not to use problem solving teaching strategies. Where to use it is when you want the outcome you want from your learners is to achieve a really related situation issues beyond the classroom. You want to base your teaching on real issues that are interest to the learners, and you want your learners to develop a deep understanding of important concepts and ability to transfer that understanding into a new learning situation and develop independent learners. Where not to use it? If the learner lacks the basic skills to work independently, if the learner lacks the prior knowledge and skills to engage effectively in this form of learning, and if you cannot explain to the learners why they're solving problems and how this will help to learn. Planning and implementing problem solving. Engaging in learning process through scaffolding. The general steps of using problem solving is in this manner. Be clear on the lesson outcomes. Identify the deep understanding that you want your learners to develop. Design a certain problem or a series of problems that will help achieve learning outcomes, whether it's within the three categories of routine problems, which is solved by an application of a known process, which, for an example, 1 divided by 2, you know how to do that. That's a process, that's a known process. A non-routine is a method or solution that is discovered as problem solving process. Open-minded is when it's solved by different methods. Identify the prior knowledge relative to the start off the investigation. Decide how you will motivate the learners to engage in problem solving, and teach the learners problem solving processes as a skill. Identify problems, parts of the problems where it might be difficult, and identify a number of approaches that might help learners as they attempt to solve this problem. And they attempt. Ensure their plans allow freedom for the learners to attempt to solve the problems. Guide learners to resources that would help them solve problems. Engaging the learners through the scaffolding process. Continuing the steps is to encourage a learner to use their own strategies for solving problems. Praise their initiative, their original ideas, their resourcefulness, and willing to explore different approaches to the problem. Help to keep learners to use their own strategies for solving the problem. It helped the learner to keeping track. It's useful to see your role as being a metacognitive coach who questions, who motivates, who probes, and applause promotes, which promotes interactions and prompts to become more aware of their reasoning skills as they are using it during problem solving lesson. Encourage and assist learners to record their problem solving processes and the conclusion. Partake in problem solving with the learners so that you can model problem solving approaches by writing on the board, or even just telling them. Help learners to bring the investigation to a conclusion and evaluate a learner's understanding. How to develop a learner's thinking skill. The Bono suggests 6 thinking hat techniques as a solution to a problem as thinking skills. The first one is focusing. Look at what outcome you should be achieved and to produce diverse approaches to solve the problem, finding relevance in given problems. The second is information gathering. The learner develops a skill to research, ability to identify relative information, formulates checklist questions for gathering information, and use the observational skills or appropriate forms of research. The third is organizing. The learner aligns a relevant gather most and least important system into a format to categorize, compare attributes into acquired forms wherein a table or graphs as a data. The fourth hat is analyzing and integrating. The learner here uses appropriate method to identify essential components, relationships, main idea and errors within gathered facts and procedures information in aim to modify the gathered information, proceeding it to incorporate with new findings and information. The fifth hat is evaluating. At this stage, the learner judge the reliability and usefulness of the information according to the merits and aim to achieve the objective outcome. And the sixth hat is generating ideas, a learner's development towards initiative and abstract thinking to form a solution in presented problems. In summary, what have we learned? Our first skill that we have learned is that how do we apply problem solving within these three categories of teaching: for problem solving, teaching about problem solving, and teaching through problem solving. And using these techniques to teach in the classroom with the example presented on the slide, on the lesson. And the second skill would be suitable steps in planning and implementing problem solving teaching strategy. The third skill would be to develop the child's thinking skills. Just a reminder, an example of how to use problem solving teaching strategy, a lesson of it is at Miss Team Vega grade 5 mathematics number pattern. And thank you so much for joining me. I am Miss Team Vega and I hope to see you for more content. Leave a comment on what you want to see later on. Share, subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me learning. Bye.